Welcome to another Quadrant VS video, and today I want to show you how to map a network drive on your computer. Because people like to get down to the nitty-gritty, I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to tell you why you would want to have a setup like this. So we're going to go to Start in Windows 7, Computer, Map Network Drive, click on Browse, or you could just manually type in the network share address if you know that, but if you're watching this video, you're probably not familiar with that. So click on Browse. I recommend just leaving this drive letter. Let Windows pick it. So browse. Now here's your LAN. This is your LAN. This is not over the WAN. It's not going over the internet. This is not a these aren't systems in China. These are all the computers that are on your network, on your LAN, on your internal network. So your dad might have a computer, somebody might have an Android phone, or these are all the devices on your network that are showing up. So this is what all this is, or all the computers. I don't think Android devices will show up here. I'm thinking of another setup. So you would select the designated computer or the desired computer. For this example, we're going to go ahead and choose my server, and then you would go ahead, click on the desired folder that computer is sharing out. Go ahead and click on OK. Make sure you have reconnect that login checked. You always want that, unless you want to map the network drive every time your computer is rebooted. It depends if you have profile changes, so you can leave that unchecked. But most likely that would be something that you wouldn't need checked anyway. So make sure to reconnect that login and leave that unchecked. Hit finish. It'll bring up the drive. And as you can see, it should show up in our map drives. Now I don't want this mapped. This is my C drive for the server that's sharing out all of these drives that you're seeing here. But that's basically how you would map it. Now why would you want to set up like this? Well, let me give you a scenario. Your dad has a Pentium 4 based computer, so it's x86, not 64-bit compatible, and it was running Windows XP. It had a 40 gig IDE hard drive in it, and a GeForce MX something or another. It's an old computer, but it still works. You like to play games, or let me not use that. You like to watch movies, or you have a lot of documents, you have a lot of pictures and videos, but your 40 gig drive just isn't enough. But you have a friend or a family member who built a badass computer and just decided to put 6 4-terabyte hard drives in it. They leave the computer on all the time, so basically that's already qualifies as a server. What they can do with those drives, and they may never utilize those drives by themselves. They may just go on Facebook, and they may have been dumb enough to just buy 6 hard drives and put it in their computer. Well, what they can do, they can go and look at their hard drive. So let's just say this is their hard drives here. Okay? They can simply right-click on that drive, hit Properties, click on Sharing, Advanced Sharing. They can share the folder or drive, but it'll say Share Folder. They can give it a share name. They can put comments on the drive. That's good when you're connecting to it. You can kind of see what the, it's just custom. You can leave that blank. And of course, you want to set your permissions to depending on who's connecting to the drive. But I always have mine set to full control because I'm usually the only one connecting to it. But the safest thing you want checked, safest thing you want checked. The safest thing to do is to have it read, because you want the person connecting to the server to read the files, and I think they'll be able to copy them. But you want them to read them from the server, but you do not want them to have full control. What that allows them to do, it'll allow them to delete files, rename files, and probably screw up your music library if you let the wrong person in. So go ahead, make sure you have read checked unless you want them to have full control. Make sure you have the everyone group. Since Windows 7 doesn't have any Active Directory features, it doesn't have any Active Directory features built into it, as far as I know. Go ahead and just leave that at the everyone group unless you want specific users. But again, those users will be based on a local machine instead of a network. So again, Active Directory is not here. So let's go ahead, leave that at everyone, and then click on OK. I'm not going to do it in my case because I don't want that broadcasted on my network. And then what they could do, they could map the network drive, browse the network, select the desired PC that's sharing the drives. They could see what drives are sharing the, you know, they could see what drives are being shared out, and they could then map their computer to that drive and have access to that drive without even going upstairs to the machine, to the physical machine, which is great. Now, if you're on Wi-Fi, don't expect file copies from the remote machine to be blazing fast. I've seen speeds go up to 500 kilobytes per second on my Wi-Fi connection, which I have a wireless in connection, but Wi-Fi is not sufficient enough for file transfer, but it is sufficient enough for streaming things across the network that's not games, so movies, music, and pictures. So, alright, well, I hope that video was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them below. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for any of my upcoming videos and tutorials. Oh yeah, by the way, before I close out this video, if you want to remove a drive or disconnect from a drive, you right click on it, hit disconnect. It'll give you a little warning here. Hit yes. It'll disconnect, and when you reboot your computer, it won't show back up unless you remap your computer to that drive.